Nice hold in here today in Micron, actually up 3%. We are trading just below that $1,000 cycle level in here at 990. You still have a lot of call skew in here, which means that your puts are going to trade for less than your calls. Your calls are going to be trading richer, but you're also going to get more juice out of your puts and your put spread and things like that. So if you get about a half standard deviation in August, put credit spreads trading for right around a third of the width of the strikes in there. You about go $10 wide, so about 290. You do the same thing on the call side, you're only going to get about a buck 50 out of it. So take that into consideration. But your calls are trading richer, but you're going to get more bang for your buck on the put side in here. And also, if you get a rise in here, your volatility is going to increase. You're getting a pullback. Your volatility will most likely decrease. We still have a lot of volatility in here wrapped up in all the expiration cycles. Really, your IV rank overall is going to be about 84. You have about a $40 expected move priced in by tomorrow's expiration raw IV in here of about 115. If you go out the next Monday, about 65 bucks in here on some raw IV, about 90. So it drops off just a little bit. If you go all the way out to August, you're looking at about a $212 expected move priced in by that 821 cycle. So we're going to see what happens in here as we continue throughout to end this green candle that we kind of put in here. We're going to see where that ends up on the week, and then we're going to go from there into next week. You can see we adjusted our overall structure in here at the beginning of this week just because we were fully out of the overall structure from our previous lower trend line that we broke down at. So now we're going to see if we're going to consolidate down here. It looks like we had a nice little run up in here, back up to those close to the thousands in here, right? So we're going to see if we can climb back up there and hold, but we're going to see if we're going to respect this lower trend line in here now. Are we going to be climbing back up in here to those 1100s and 1200s like we were? I'm not sure. We're going to need a decent amount of volume and a good push in here overall for us to do that, but that's going to have to take some work from the overall markets as well, and everything kind of just fell flat on its face today. Thought we were going to get a little bit of recovery in here. The Qs and the SPY had a nice little pop right at the open in here this morning, and then after that just kind of drizzled out, and then obviously kept on pulling back further and further. So we're going to see Intel obviously had a nice little move in after hours in here with their earnings. So we're going to see how that affects things. MU also seeing some sympathy in there as we had a nice little run up into 4 o'clock, kind of with the overall market as well. So let's see where we're going to gap up or gap down at tomorrow on the weekly chart. What are we looking at in here in MU? We're watching the 981 for our immediate support. Obviously, if we get a larger gap down, that is going to be irrelevant, but 925 is kind of the big area in here. That's where our blue 9-day EMA is sitting. Also, watch out for those 935s. That was a previous open for us here back in June. To the upside in here, what are we looking at? Obviously, $1,000 is going to be the main key area that we need to get above, right? But 1,012, that is going to be our first area of resistance. Anything outside of that, we're going to be back up in that 1089 area in here. So all in all, you got some call skew in here. You got some volatility. Let's see if we can get a nice little push in here coming off of some decent earnings in here. I guess some decent earning movements, that is, and seeing if the overall market can kind of take us higher in here. We're also going to take a look at Delta. Obviously, kind of the exact opposite of everything that we just said in Micron, right? We got low volatility in here. We have a pullback in here, rejection of this upper trend line, of this overall structure, trying to find some footing down in here right around these low 80s. We are down 2% on the day. So we're going to see what kind of action we get tomorrow as we're closing out this overall weekly candle, and then going to try to see what's going to happen as we go into the last week of the month in here for July. You got about $1.24 expected move being priced in by this Friday, next Friday, right around $4. If you go all the way out to your August monthlies, it looks like right around a $7 expected move is being priced in here for Delta. So not a whole lot of volatility that you can really work with in here, just trying to find its place somewhere down here in these low 80s. To the upside in here, what are we looking at? We're going to be watching that 83.83, and then outside of that, we're going to look at that $88 level. That was a previous open for us in here just last week. To the downside, we are going to be looking at that 78 area and then 76.42 for our major areas of support in here. So it looks like it kind of wants to come back down in here and kind of stay in this whole area right here, right? So you got about a channel from those upper seven or about mid 70s to that 84 range. So it looks like we might be hovering down in here for a while. I know we were only in here for about 3 weeks, so we might kind of come back out down in here and then try to reset everything and then go from there. But obviously, you got about $1 expected move priced in by tomorrow. This thing's going to trade correlate pretty well with the S&Ps. So keep that in mind as you are kind of trading in here and watch your overall correlations. But so it's the exact opposite, right, of Micron, right? Micron kind of did its own thing in here today. You had a big pullback in the market. Whereas we're just, you have volatility to spare in Micron with the call skew. Delta, you're basically, your skews are more or less just trading the same. You're not getting a whole lot of premiums in here on your strangles at standard deviations or even half a standard deviation in here. So kind of keep all that in mind as you're looking in here, kind of a tale of two different stocks. So let's see how each of these correlate tomorrow. And then we're going to try to take advantage of these in other stocks that are also in their same sectors in here tomorrow. So let's see what happens as we close out the end of the week. And good luck to everybody as you're playing these and then looking forward ahead into the last week of July. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you're interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.